Hey, hey, it's your girl Latonia Monroe Naylor, your Chief Business Educator, here with another Tea and Talk Tuesday with Latonia. I don't have my mug with me, but I did have my tea today, y'all. And I'm so excited about today. I'm excited about the fact that we're in November. This year started off very spontaneous, but yet intentional. As y'all may recall, I published my book in December, so I literally ran into January with a book launch, and it was just a very transformational year. A lot of growth, a lot of stretching. Good stretching, bad stretching. Some things happened this year that I would have rather not had happened, and there's a lot of things that happened, and I'm really happy that they did. All in all, it created an atmosphere for me to stretch. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about today stretching. Stretching is very important, and the reality is that there is one thing that prohibits us, that often gets in the way, that often causes us to not be able to move forward. And that thing that often prevents the stretching is fear. Yes, fear. So, you know what I decided to do? Because y'all know I'm an educator at heart. I decided to go and look up fear. And we know when we put things in Google, we get all kinds of responses. So one of the responses that I got is fear is a complex reaction to danger that involves both the body and the mind. It's a protective mechanism that signals danger and prepares us to deal with it. Some key elements of fear include intensity, timing, coping, sensations, feelings, cognitions, behaviors. That's all in one. Mental health, fear mongering. These things are all part of it. And what is very interesting too is that one of the definitions I looked at said that the elements of fear are genetic, cultural, environmental, physiological, and psychological. So what the reason why I'm giving you a definition is because, like I said, I'm a teacher at heart. I want to make sure that I'm breaking down to you what the fear is that I am talking about. Now, many of you that are listening are believers, and you all know the word. It says that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but He's given us the spirit of love, power, and what? A sound mind. And we can quote that until we're blue in the face. But then we do things that are contrary to the fear that allows it to continue to captivate us. So the problem is not the word. The problem is not even you speaking the word. The problem is you believing. And many people say, well, I believe it. I have faith. No, having faith and practicing belief are not always the same thing. Because you may have faith in some areas, but not necessarily practicing your belief in another area. And so that's where fear can come in and captivate us. For many of us, and especially those of you who are tuning into me, you have had it in your mind that you want to start a business. You had it in your mind that this was going to be your year. You had it in your mind that you would just purchase some random person's package to teach you about what to do, and you were going to do it, and you were going to see all your likes go up, and all your followers go up, and all your bank account was going to be filled and running over. And now you're getting towards the end of the year, and you are like, this is not happening for me. Why is this not happening? You're getting to the end of the year in this holiday season, and many of you celebrate, whether it's Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever. You're celebrating something, and you are saying, how in the world am I going to celebrate when I am looking at my bank account and I'm trying to figure out how in the world we're going to have it to be able to celebrate? But, anyways, back to it. You had the fear creeping in, and you spoke to it, and you were empowered by the words you spoke. But one thing that did not happen is that you didn't pay attention to the fact that fear is not just a mental thing, but it is actually a physical thing as well. So even if you speak to your mind and you tell your mind not to be fearful, that you can do this, that you can start a business, that you can grow a business, that you can go all in, as they say, 10 toes down, however you want to say it, or whatever the saying that people are using today that's trending. People will quote these things and affirm these things and repeat these things, and yet still find themselves in the same situation, same condition. because physically their body is not in compliance with their mind. While their mind is saying, I want to be a business owner, their body is used to carrying out the activity of an employee. While their mind is saying, I want to be a CEO, their body is used to running around taking care of errands for everybody and not making space for themselves. Why? Because a lot of times the things we do are habitual. We don't even think about it. Last time I was on, I challenged you to write down what you are doing for the day. And it's so funny because I was listening to my coach teaching the other day, and she brought that up. And she was talking about that as well, about the importance of writing things down. You have to write things down. Because if you don't write things down, you don't know what you did. If you don't keep track of it in some way, I keep track of everything on my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it's not going to happen. It didn't happen. It will not happen. I tell people all the time, if you don't send me a calendar invite or if you don't make sure I add it to my calendar, you cannot be upset with me that I didn't make it there. Now, some people say, it is my fault, but whatever. That's my opinion. Okay. So I said that to say that we have programmed our bodies, we have programmed our circle of people around us. We have programmed people to think that we are going to carry things out in a certain way because that's what we've always done. So what I'm saying today is do not allow the fear to cause you to continue to operate in the same ways that you operated that prevented you from being able to accomplish the things that you wanted to accomplish in this year. And I'm saying this because there are certain things you're still struggling with that you said in the beginning of the year you weren't going to do. There's things you put on your resolution, on your vision board that are still not done. And it's not because you didn't have the opportunity. It's because you didn't have the capacity. And the reason why you didn't have the capacity is because you allow fear to hold you captive so that you couldn't move forth to do the things that are uncomfortable so that you could accomplish the things that you need to accomplish. Somebody told you your book was no good, so you quit and you didn't do another draft. Somebody told you you're not a good singer. Somebody told you you're not a good writer. Somebody told you you're not a good speaker. Nobody wants to hear your voice. The tone of your voice is just not appealing. People say things, but the reality is there's somebody out there that wants to hear you no matter what your voice sounds like. There's somebody out there that will say you can sing even if you can't. Now, I didn't mean to get into all of that because y'all understand I'm making folly in some ways, but in other ways I'm not. I'm being very intentional to say that it's us that becomes, there's a saying that we say at the end of church service, every single service. We say, shake hands with yourself, who can be your worst enemy or your best friend. You have it in your hands. You have the control to be able to tell fear, you will not hold me captive. So that's what I'm encouraging you to do on today. Look fear in the face. And fear looks very different for all of us. Fear looks very different for all of us. For some of us, fear is the unknown. For some of us, fear is confidence. For some of us, fear is dressing differently. You're so used to dressing down in sneakers and everything, and you're afraid that if you change up your look, people are going to think you're bougie or talk about you. Sometimes fear is you want a new car and you're afraid to get one because you don't want people looking at you thinking you think you're all that. Sometimes fear is moving out of your neighborhood into a different neighborhood, even though you know you can afford it and even though you know it's better for you and your family, but because you're afraid of what people might think of you. Sometimes fear is saying, hey, 9 to 5, I love you. You've been great. I gotta go. I gotta move on to the dream that I have. If you make the decision to do that, make sure you have a strategy. But that is what fear can be for different people, right? It can be very different. Fear can be wanting to have a child, but your whole life is going to change because you're used to not having one. You and your spouse are like, hey, it's time. Or is it time? Who wants to bring a baby into this world with all the crazy stuff that's happening in the world, right? But that's fear. So I want to challenge you not to allow fear to hold you captive any longer. We are going out of this year, and there's a lot of things that you still can do before this year is up to prove to yourself that you can accomplish some of these things that you have had on hold. And you need somebody to help you get there. And I say that not to just self promote, but I say that because even I made a conscious choice to really invest in myself over the last 18 months. And I got into a coaching program and I got a mentor. I have, as a matter of fact, I have three mentors, right? And I intentionally did these things because there were certain things that fear was speaking to me and saying I could not do. But I knew because I saw these individuals accomplish it, it was possible. And I needed them to show me how to do it. I need them to show me how to look fear in the face and say, regardless of being a mom, having multiple children, being a wife, being a pastor's wife, being a business owner, being a CEO, being a community leader, in spite of these different things, that I could still accomplish things, that there was a way for me to do that. And I set up very intentional strategies to do that. And I've seen more increase in this year than I have seen in the last 3 or 4 years combined. Because I acknowledge the fact that yeah, there is some fear. But I am a believer that God has not given me the spirit of fear. He's given me the spirit of love. He's given me the spirit of power. And he's given me the spirit of a sound mind. So your girl is not stressed out, over anxious, overwhelmed, can't think. No, I have clarity on today. I have power to get wealth on today. I have love and compassion abounding in my heart, in my spirit today. Because I looked fear in the face and said, "You will not hold me captive." So I hope that that encouraged you. I know it encouraged somebody because I felt it. I know it encouraged somebody because fear is the base of a lot of things that hinder us from being able to grow and being able to prosper and being able to have the things we deserve and being willing to set ourselves in a place where we can say no, where we can set boundaries, where we can do the things that are necessary and healthy for us to be able to grow, go, and get some out. I used to be a rapper. No, you can't find it on YouTube or anything because it was before YouTube. At any rate, y'all, check it out. Latonia Monroe Naylor is going to be having a session on this Saturday, November 16th at 12:30. We have a free Mission Rich Business Class 101. So a lot of people have been reaching out to me, many folks who have read the book, and they're like, oh my God, this is so great. I love it. Can you tell me how to get started? And because we have a special Black Friday package that will be unleashed or unveiled very soon, I wanted to make sure that I gave you all the opportunity to tune in as my gift to you to the Mission Rich Business Class 101 with your girl, Latonia Monroe Naylor, so that we can talk about many of the things that you are going to need to combat the fear. Remember, confidence is one of those things that really looks fear in the face and says, goodbye, deuces. And knowing what to do, knowing when to do it, knowing what it is that needs to happen in order for you to be able to be successful, to build a strong foundation for your business, for your nonprofit, for your church, I think is one of the most key things, especially in my journey, in being able to combat fear and being able to just be like I said, I tell fear that a lot. A lot of times it tries to captivate me. And I tell you, it doesn't like happen once and you get victory and then it goes away. It happens a lot. It happens a lot. But the good thing about it is that we're able to combat it. So we have the power to do so. So tune in November 16th at 12:30. Comment below, say Mission Rich, send me a direct message if you're interested in attending the free class. Yes, free free class. It'll be a 60-minute session, and yours truly is gifting it in the spirit of Thanksgiving. So I look forward to seeing y'all there. I look forward to sharing with you all, whether you have a business or not, whether you are in the beginning stages or just needing a hard reset or just not sure if you're doing things properly. There's a lot of people like you have businesses and you're like, hey, I've been doing this for a few years, but I still don't think I got it right. So please join. We will have a really great informational session and also provide some space for questions and answers so you can some of your probing questions answered in that session. So that is all for today, y'all. Check me out on social media if you're not already, and make sure that you don't forget to purchase my book. Gotta get that shout out for Mission Rich Profit Power. Whoops, there it is sitting behind me. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening.